Hello everyone, welcome to Sally and Bytes. Let's take a deep dive into the world of deep learning and discover the inner workings of neural networks, the driving force behind modern AI and machine learning. Have you ever wondered how your phone gallery groups images based on their location? Or how Google translates an entire web page to different languages in a matter of seconds? All of this is a product of deep learning. So, what exactly is deep learning? Deep learning is a subset of machine learning where algorithms learn to represent and interpret data through hierarchical layers of artificial neural networks. Let's see the subsets of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is the capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. Machine learning is a subset of AI where machines learn from data without being explicitly programmed. It involves algorithms that allow computers to learn from and make predictions or decisions based on data. Deep learning is a specialized subset of machine learning that uses neural networks with many layers, deep neural networks, to analyze various factors of data. Deep learning uses neural networks to simulate human-like decision-making. Let's understand deep learning better. Deep learning is a subfield of machine learning that deals with algorithms inspired by the structure and function of the brain. How does deep learning work? Deep learning algorithms are neural networks that are modeled after the human brain. For example, a human brain contains millions of interconnected neurons that work together to learn and process information. Similarly, deep learning neural networks, or artificial neural networks, are made of many layers of artificial neurons that work together inside the computer. In technical terms, deep learning uses something called neural networks, which are inspired by the human brain. A biological neuron is a specialized cell in the nervous system responsible for transmitting and processing electrical signals. Neurons within an artificial neural network are computational units that mimic the function of biological neurons, processing and transmitting information through interconnected layers to perform various tasks such as pattern recognition or decision-making. Let's move on to the artificial neuron. An artificial neuron or neural node is a mathematical model. In most cases, it computes the weighted average of its input and then applies a bias to it. Post that, it passes this resultant term through an activation function. This activation function is a nonlinear function such as the sigmoid function that accepts a linear input and gives a nonlinear output. A typical neural network consists of layers of neurons called neural nodes. These layers are of the following three types. Input layer, single, where data enters through the input layer. And they transfer the data to the hidden layer, one or more than one. Hidden layers process and transport data to other layers. The hidden layers nodes classify the data points based on the broader target information, and with every subsequent layer, the scope of the target value narrows down to produce accurate assumptions. And finally, output layer, single. The final result or prediction is made in the output layer. The output layer uses hidden layer information to select the most probable label. Each neural node is connected to another and is characterized by its weight and a threshold. Weight refers to a parameter that adjusts the strength of connections between neurons in neural network layers, affecting the transformation of input data to produce output predictions. Threshold is a value used to determine neuron activation based on the weighted sum of inputs. Artificial neurons are software modules called nodes, which use mathematical calculations to process data. Artificial neural networks are deep learning algorithms that use these nodes to solve complex problems. These networks consist of layers of interconnected nodes that process information. The more layers, the deeper the network, allowing it to learn more complex features and perform more sophisticated tasks. Let's see how neural network works. Consider there are two kids. Each of them write down the digit 3 on a piece of paper. Notably, they don't all write it identically. Different individuals might write the digit in slightly different ways. The human brain can easily recognize the digits, but how can a computer recognize the digit as 3? That's where deep learning comes in. Here is a neural network trained to identify handwritten digits. Each number is present as an image of 28 times 28 pixels. Now that amounts to a total of 784 pixels. A neuron is a thing that holds the number. Specifically, the number between 0 and 1. You can look at this image of digit 3, where each pixel is zoomed for your reference. Neurons, the core entity of a neural network, is where the information processing takes place. Each one of these neurons holds a number that represents the gray-scale value of the corresponding pixel, ranging from 0.01 for black pixels up to 1.00 for white pixels. This number inside the neuron is called its activation. The image you have 3 here is lit up when its activation is high number. So all these 784 neurons make up the first layer input layer of our network. Each of the 784 pixels is fed to a neuron in the first layer of our neural network. This forms the input layer. On the other hand, we have the output layer with each neuron representing a digit with the hidden layers existing between them. The information is then transferred from one layer to another over connecting channels. Each of these has a value attached to it, and hence it is called a weighted channel. All neurons have a unique number associated with it called bias. This bias is added to the weighted sum of inputs reaching the neuron, which then applied to a function known as the activation function. The result of the activation function determines if the neuron gets activated. Every activated neuron passes on information to the following layers. This continues until the second last layer. The one neuron activated in the output layer corresponds to the input digit. Here it is digit 3. The weights and bias are continuously adjusted to produce a well-trained network. Let's learn the difference between deep learning and machine learning. Let's see the machine learning process. An engineer with knowledge of both the model and the subject being classified manually selects which features the machine learning algorithm will use as a decision boundary. The algorithm then searches for these set features and uses them to classify data. Now let's see the deep learning process. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning that determines target features automatically, without the aid of a human engineer. This speeds up results as the algorithm can find and select features faster than a human can. Deep learning also increases accuracy because the algorithm can detect all features rather than just those recognizable to the human eye. The main difference between deep learning and machine learning processes is how features are extracted. Let's observe how the machine distinguishes between a cat and a dog. When employing machine learning, an engineer needs to instruct the machine about the distinguishing features of the two. These features might include the size and type of eyes, ears, nose, legs, and so on. With deep learning, on the other hand, the features are picked up by the neural network without human intervention. Being able to operate independently like that means we need a lot more data to teach our machine effectively. Let's see the difference between deep learning and machine learning. Deep learning algorithms can work with enormous amount of structured and unstructured data. Machine learning algorithms work with huge amount of structured data. Deep learning can perform complex algorithms, whereas machine learning cannot perform complex operations. Deep learning achieve the best performance with large amounts of data, whereas in machine learning, as the amount of data increases, the performance of machine learning algorithms decreases. Deep learning algorithms take large volumes of data as inputs, analyze the input to extract features out of an object and identifies similar object, whereas machine learning algorithms extract patterns based on labeled sample data.
Why do we need deep learning? Deep learning processes huge amount of data, performing complex algorithms, enabling to achieve the best performance with large amounts of data and effective feature extraction.
Let's dive into the applications of deep learning. Deep learning enables self-driving cars to recognize and interpret their surroundings from sensor data, crucial for making real-time driving decisions. By continuously learning and improving from experience, deep learning algorithms enhance the safety and efficiency of autonomous vehicles on the road. Chatbots powered by deep learning analyze customer queries, providing personalized responses and efficient support round the clock. Many people engage with customer service agents, often unaware that they're actually conversing with a bot. The interaction feels remarkably authentic, showcasing the sophistication of AI-driven chatbots in mimicking human conversation. Deep learning has transformed computer vision, allowing for precise facial recognition in security systems. Deep learning in healthcare enables accurate diagnosis from medical images, such as detecting tumors in MRI scans, reading a book, navigating a crosswalk. These tasks are easy for most people, but can be difficult for those who are visually impaired. To bring more independence to the lives of people with limited sight, a new wearable device called Horus uses GPU-powered deep learning and computer vision to help them see by describing what its users are looking at. Deep learning has vast scope, but it also faces some limitations. Data requirements. Deep learning models are data-hungry. They often require massive labeled datasets for training. This poses a challenge, especially in domains where collecting and annotating data is time-consuming and expensive. Computation and resources. Training deep learning models requires significant computational power, including specialized hardware like GPUs and TPUs. And GPUs are quite expensive. This creates a resource barrier for smaller organizations and researchers. Training time. Deep learning models can require extensive time for training, especially when dealing with large datasets or complex architectures. How to get started with deep learning? At first, you have to understand the basics of machine learning concepts like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Learn Python. Python is the primary language used in deep learning. Start by learning Python fundamentals with my YouTube series, Getting Started with Python, to build a strong foundation. Familiarize yourself with linear algebra and calculus. Deep learning heavily relies on linear algebra and calculus for understanding and implementing various algorithms. Brush up on your knowledge of matrices, vectors, derivatives, and gradients. Study neural networks. Deep learning is based on artificial neural networks. Begin by learning about the structure and functioning of neural networks, including perceptrons, activation functions, layers, and architectures like feed-forward neural networks. Explore deep learning frameworks. TensorFlow and PyTorch are the most popular deep learning frameworks. Start with one of them and get comfortable with its syntax, APIs, and tools. Work on projects. Hands-on experience is crucial in deep learning. Start with simple projects like image classification using datasets like NIST or SAFAR10. As you gain confidence, move on to more complex projects and real-world datasets. There are a wide variety of career opportunities that utilize deep learning knowledge and skills. These include software engineers, data analysts, data scientists, software developers, research scientists. The average salary for a deep learning engineer ranges from a median of $146,000 per year to upwards of $181,000, highlighting the lucrative potential in this field. Thanks for watching. If you find this exploration of deep learning fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more enlightening content. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.